So I got these jeans online, super discount. They're maternity jeans. They have the belly band, they're wider at the hips. They even have like a button. They look like real jeans except for the belly band, which is attached to the pants. The only problem is that they are rip style at the bottom. So I'd be fine with this if they stayed the way they looked when I first bought them. So when I first bought them, they had like maybe 1 or 2 threads just in line with the bottom of the cuff. That was fine. I threw them in the wash and this is what's happened. So this is just after 1 wash. So many more threads have come out. So what this means is these jeans are only going to last so long. And I wash my jeans at least once a week. So I think we'd be lucky if they stayed the same length throughout my pregnancy. So in being very green-minded and minimizing my waste, I want to secure these seams by folding them under and doing a quick sew job. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. You can do this whether you're green-minded or whether you just don't like this frayed, worn look. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is prepare these legs freehand. So trimming off all the excess threads. Just going to make this step a lot easier. Okay, continue for the other cuff as well. You can even get closer with trimming with the scissors here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pin and get ready to sew these. There is another option you can do rather than sewing the hems, and that's using these iron-on seams. So it's just this material that has glue on it. It's almost like ribbon, so you cut the length that you need to fit the circumference of the seam. You put it in between 2 bits of fabric, as you see here, and then you iron. I did this with some denim shorts that again were cut off shorts, but I wanted them to have a proper seam but didn't feel like sewing them. And it was really effective. It lasted for, I believe, 2 seasons of wearing in Canada, so that was really effective. Of course, it's something that needs ongoing maintenance, whereas if you sew a seam, that's gonna last a lot longer. Okay, so I've pinned up a couple folds here. On the left, I folded the fabric once and pinned them, and then on the right, I folded twice and then pinned. A traditional seam usually has at least the 2 folds, but what you can see is that I lose quite a bit of length even just with the 1 pin fold. I mean, the one fold isn't too bad. It's still, you know, at my ankle. Let's see what these look like sitting down. I find it so important to sit down when I'm checking out pants, especially when I shop for them, because you can see how much further these pants are going to roll up. So removing the double fold and comparing to the original hem, you can see when I'm sitting down with the original hem, they still sit at quite a good height, but even the single fold now has ridden up quite a bit. Okay, so I've given this a lot of thought and I really like how the jeans fit in terms of length with the original style, but we still have the problem of trying to protect the seam so we don't continuously get more and more fraying and lose the length anyways. Also remember to pre-wash your garments before you hem them, otherwise you might hem them and then the length could shrink after the wash. So how I'm going to protect these loose seams or a lack of seams is I have these old sweatpants that I no longer use. They've been in the rag bin. They've actually made had a few lives now. We repurposed them into another garment earlier. So I've cut the bottom of the seam off them. And what I'm going to do is use that seam tape I showed you before, and I'm going to iron these to the inside of the seams to reinforce them. And then I'll do a stitch along the bottom to further reinforce them, and then that should be good. Those should last a long time. Okay, so I have the iron preheating, and what I'm going to do is select out the length of tape that I need, or hem tape. And what I can see is that it's actually wider than the little strip of jersey material. So I'm folding it over so that it will fit completely underneath the jersey material, and then we won't have any of this glue sticking out, which might get onto the iron, or it will also just be unsightly and peeling eventually. So once everything's all lined up, you're ready to start ironing. I use the iron at quite a hot temperature, and I do find that I have to go over quite a few times just to ensure that the glue actually activates and sticks the two pieces of material together. So while you're resting the iron on your material just to allow it to really heat up and adhere properly, you can work and get the pieces aligned and ready for when you're ready to turn the garment. And you're just going to continue like this around the entire circumference of the cuff of the jeans. So whenever I reached a seam that wasn't secured down from the manufacturing sewing, what I did is I added some extra adhesive tape underneath the seam and then overlap slightly with more adhesive and the jersey material of the previous end of the jersey material. So a good way to check to make sure you've heated the adhesive long enough is just trying to pull away the fabric a little bit from the other piece. And if it feels secure, then you know it's adhered. So once you've secured both cuffs with the jersey strip, you're ready to sew a seam. So after several wears and washes, these are what the jeans look like. So after each wash, some threads do come out, and I usually just do a little bit of a touch-up trim, but they look fairly similar to when I first bought them. They're not retreating anymore, and this has stayed in place, the liner I put in. I do notice it when I put on the pants, but otherwise it's fairly undetectable. And you can't even see my sew line anymore, which I did in the light gray thread, and that just gets covered up by the fray. So I actually really like how these pants look now. Okay, and I'll just show you how the jeans look when I'm wearing them. So in standing, you can see there's still quite a bit of length there. And this extra length is really great when you're sitting down as well, because it doesn't look as if the pants are riding up at all. They're still sitting at a really good height in relation to the ankles. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful. If you liked the video, please give it a like below. If you have any comments or questions, please type them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to see more of my videos, please press subscribe and you'll get notified the next time I post one. Okay, have a great day.